What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another gifted upload. This feels like my first real video of 2023, but we're here. I just want to say before we get into it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We got some more NBA breakdowns and stuff coming through. Life comes at you fast, so I've been living. You know what I'm saying? Kind of sick right now still, but we saw a sensational performance from the Warriors last night, so I want to get right to that in this video. So Steph last night had 40 points. In my opinion, this is the best game that he's played since coming off of that injury. Jordan Poole continues to add to his starter streak where he replaced Klay Thompson as a starter due to Klay not playing back-to-backs. And Jordan Poole had 30 points. They gave up a lot of points to the Wizards, unfortunately. They did give up 118 points, but they're able to survive through out executing them in the fourth quarter and great shot making from not just Steph in the fourth quarter, but Draymond Green. That's right, Draymond Green. Draymond had 11 points in the fourth quarter. He got into a scuffle with a fan, and he said that that really pushed him to really prove him wrong. So he was really good in the second half of this game. But overall, I just want to say this was a very important win. And let me just give you the quick roadmap ever since Steph got back. So without Steph, they were able to hover around 500, which we said in the last video was going to be very key if this team wanted to survive and have a chance. But before Steph came back, they lost to Detroit in a heartbreaker. Shout out to Sadiq Bey. That was tough. They lose to Orlando. Then Steph comes back and they get blown out in embarrassing fashion by the Suns without Chris Paul and Devin Booker and A. They had so many rotational players not playing, and we lost that game. That was one of the worst losses of the season by far for the Warriors. Then they go on the road. They beat San Antonio. They play good Warriors basketball. They dominate. Then they lose to Chicago, and I watched that game. I watched a Chicago Bulls team with no DeMar DeRozan beat us badly due to defensive discipline and Vucevic, us having no answer for Vucevic. Vucevic had 40 points in that game, absolutely killed us, and we put them in the bonus early within the first 3 to 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, right? So to me, that was just a very bad effort. Klay was good in that game, but the issue is we have not been able to capitalize on some of these great performances from Klay. And I think without Klay to win this game was big. Steph had to hunt his shots, get into his rhythm as the superstar player on this team. Again, 12 points in the fourth quarter. He was sensational tonight. Some of the shots he was making back to back to back were just backbreakers and really kept us in the game all the way through. And I understand if you're not a Warriors fan, you're probably thinking if you need 40 points to beat the Wizards, that's not particularly a good sign, especially without Bradley Beal playing. And I can understand that. But the way that this team has been playing right now, you need all the wins you can get, and there are no excuses. In the West this year, a lot of people feel like it's wide open. And because it's wide open and teams still have not fully separated themselves in different classes, Golden State has to prove that they can get back to the team they think they can be. Because the biggest thing for this team is clicking on all cylinders at the right time, is putting together a consistent stretch of basketball regardless of who the opponent is. So for them to win this game, to come back in a nip and tuck game like this where Porzingis dominated us as well, but we survived that, I think was pretty big. And for the schedule moving forward, it's key because if we're able to ride this momentum and take these next two road games, which the next game is in Boston, we'll get to that, and the next game is in Cleveland, it would do sensational things for this team's morale on the road, which is very important because our road record is a big part of why we are where we are now. But the next game is going to be one of the biggest games of the season. When Boston came into Golden State set the tone and made an example for why they are a championship team, and they took it to Boston in what I deem to be a emotional matchup. I think that this is going to be a dogfight game, even though there is no Jaylen Brown, which will be kind of rough. Boston is still going to get up and fight to try to protect home court, considering the history of what happened in the finals and how they played us earlier in this season. So I think Tatum is going to have a monster game, but Golden State has to click on all cylinders. I think Klay Thompson resting on the second back-to-back is good, so he'll have his legs under him for this Boston game. But there are no excuses. Like, Boston's not healthy, they will still come through and try to destroy you. Tatum just had 50 points versus the Charlotte Hornets, so this will be a marquee matchup to watch. And Steph in the Garden is always a very fun watch in these past couple seasons, especially in the finals. So this team has a chance to reclaim what they were and show that in Boston. And then in Cleveland, that's another good East team. So we're playing two back-to-back good East teams on the road. If we can win those two games, we then have a 3-game homestand versus the Nets, versus the Raptors, and versus Memphis, which is tough, but it's at home. And again, we're playing better teams. In my opinion, Golden State is so weird. They play better basketball versus teams that are above 500, as long as you're not named the Suns. And like, because of that, I do think they're going to play a lot better in these upcoming games. But ideally for me, the biggest issue with this team right now is the fouling. Putting teams on the free throw line when we barely get to the free throw line as a team is not good. Steph in the first half last night had 12 free throws. The team as a whole shot like 13, right? So like it was literally Steph carrying us in terms of getting to the free throw line. So if we're not being as efficient with our shots as we can be, if we're not getting to the free throw line ourselves, if we're putting teams on the free throw line, you are bailing them out defensively. And that's what enables teams to put up 128 points, to put up 130 points on this Warriors defense. You just have not seen consistent effort on that end in terms of discipline, IQ, and just effort. You just haven't seen that. And I think that for this team to get back to where they want to get to, you need to see that from everybody. So Lamb has to be smarter on the defensive end. You want to see Draymond Green come out and really exert his impact, because I think in some of these games, his impact has been kind of mid, if I'm being honest. But it's all about clicking at the right time. Kuminga isn't back yet. I do think he'll be back in one of these games in the next 5. So that's going to be crucial, because adding him back will do a lot of wonders for us defensively. As when Steph was out, Kuminga was a very important player for us in terms of closing out games and playing defense on wings and even guards. So adding him back in tandem with Andrew Wiggins throughout the entire game also takes the pressure off of Andrew a tad bit and gives us a chance to be that team that we thought that we could be coming into the season. So ultimately, those are the X factors for this team. If Jordan Poole can continue to have good floor games, that would be tremendous for us as well. I will always say this: Jordan Poole's biggest ability is getting downhill and using that to his advantage. If he can use that consistently, that will change our team a lot in terms of what we do. Because if you've been paying attention to these Warrior games, it's the complete opposite. In the third quarter, instead of turning up, we fold. And that's happened a lot more this season. And I think that's a combination of many things. So hopefully we can turn the season around and get those areas right. But these next 5 games for the Warriors are really, really big, because this is the most competitive part of the schedule that this healthy Warriors team has played, right? Like Boston, Cleveland, Brooklyn, Memphis, Toronto. That is a gruesome 5. And I would love to see what the Warriors record is coming out of that. If you ask me, I think we can win every game, obviously. But realistically, I think we lose 2 of those games. I think we beat Boston. I think we beat Brooklyn. I think we beat Memphis. We might lose to Cleveland and Toronto. But got to see exactly how these games look, right? So we'll see exactly how those things go. But we are doing a Warriors versus Celtics NBA Finals film breakdown on the channel. So make sure to tap in. We're doing that on Saturday. The reminder and the official recording will be up here soon. But make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate the support on the channel. I've been going through some life stuff, but we're here, we're back. I feel good, and there are going to be more breakdown videos on the way. So without further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next gifted upload. Peace out, everybody.